So birthday parties, weddings, family get-togethers, all the places that we're likely to find cake, cookies, chips, fun foods. Social interactions and garbage food seem to go together.
Together, yeah.
And we want to talk a little bit today about why that is and how, like, but basically what to do about it because
Mhm.
we want to be healthy. Hello, Wellness Warriors. Welcome to Mind Blowing Health and Wellness with Violet, Pat Chat Edition. I'm Violet.
And I'm Pat. There's a lot of situation where we would be behaving differently if we're in a group of people than if we would be alone. For example, like what come to mind, lunch with colleagues. So they might not be as careful following their diet plan if they would have stayed home. How do we make sure that we keep ourselves in check when there's pizza and burgers and fries and beer and you're happy to see your colleagues?
I feel like when I'm at work, there might be some peer pressure to eat like everybody else. What's interesting to me, and you're talking about going out to a meal, for example, is that if everybody at the table orders burgers, but then Violet orders a salad, the automatic idea, well, maybe not if Violet does it because I'm a girl and we get away with a lot of that.
Mm.
But if you ordered a salad when everybody's ordering burgers, it might be like, ooh, is Pat on a diet? Oh, like,
That's
I
true.
mean, I might get that. I might not get that, but you for sure
Yeah.
would get that. And I feel like it's not fair, first of all. What if I
Mm.
just like salad?
Yeah.
Which, by the way, now I kind of do.
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
but the other thing is that it puts us under pressure to hide that we're
Mm.
trying to take care of ourselves because this idea of being on a diet is seen as bad or wrong, and we forget the fact that whatever you eat is your diet.
Indeed.
So if I'm allowing myself to eat burgers and pizza and chips the chance that I end up at a heavier weight down the road exists no matter who you are, first of all. But I feel like peer pressure
Yeah.
is a big
It,
part of this.
but it's funny because like that situation happened to me last week or 2 weeks ago where I went to eat with my boss, the CIO of the company I work for, and another director, and they had like French fries, poutine, and burgers and fries, and like I ended up like taking the beef tartare with salad. And I even though I'm pretty like I assume what I'm doing and I was fine and I was like laughing a little bit at their plates. I didn't like tell them, but I could see that they were looking at me like, "Well, okay, like why beer and burger you don't have that?" But you have to believe in what you do and just like own it. Basically, just own it, and that's what I did. And I was like, and I often have the question, "Oh, are you doing your you still doing your keto stuff, Pat?" And like, yeah, I'm still doing my keto stuff, and like, you have to own it. And the conversation would take another direction, and
And if it doesn't take another direction, is that
yeah,
a big deal?
yeah,
Right?
true.
Like if the other, if people,
You're
so,
not
so
you're not
this
gonna
is,
lose your job because
so
of what you eat.
no, for sure not. I think that being embarrassed, so it's not just the peer pressure, it's that I feel embarrassed
Mm,
somehow that I cannot do what you're doing. But the thing is, very clear, and I've said this from the beginning, you can eat
mhm,
whatever you want to eat,
yeah,
right? It's not that I can't eat burgers. It's not that I can't eat French fries. I choose not to eat those things because it's not healthy.
yeah,
Now, take this a step further. I could choose to have, a sliver of burger and fries and make sure that it comes up to the numbers,
mm.
right? But would that have been as satisfying to you, Pat, as the tartare and salad that you
No,
ended up?
of course not.
And this is about making smart choices, right? You chose to
Yeah,
eat the thing that was going to give you the satisfaction of having a meal since I'm having a meal,
yeah,
which is the other part of the story. Because I could totally see myself, if it had been me, going out to a restaurant at lunchtime with a bunch of friends and I would have been having
a
coffee
coffee. Yeah,
because I don't eat twice a day for the game of it.
yeah. On top of that, like that aspect of peer pressure, if you were allergic to something, for example, if you're allergic to bread, you wouldn't have bread on your plate, and nobody would ever question it. Let's say for same setup, you're going out to lunch with your colleagues, but you entitled to the burger. It's like just it's a burger. Like I'm gonna have fun. I'm gonna be with my colleague. It's once in blue moon, and I deserve it.
Oh, I love when people say that they deserve to take a break
Hmm.
from being healthy. I mean, that's like me saying I deserve to take a break from not being in pain. So just punch me,
Mm-hmm.
right? Hit
Yeah.
me right there. Like, it doesn't make
No,
sense. It's
you
not
can't.
logical. Like, why would I ever
Yeah.
take a break from being healthy?
Yeah.
I do months, not even months. I do years of in the gym lifting heavy things, and then I say, "Oh, let me take a break and
Yeah.
let all my muscles go away." Why would anybody do that? I feel like it's not something when you think about it logically, it doesn't make sense. What you're really doing is you're looking for an excuse
Mm-hmm.
to eat some junk.
Because the bad stuff in your body won't take a break. They will still happen, even though like you. So the
And
damage. Yeah.
yeah, and I also feel like what we don't think about is if I have a glass of water and every time I take a break, I'm putting a tablespoon into this glass of water, but I can't see it, right? It's in here.
Mm.
When do I know that it's overflowing?
Yeah.
This is the thing that we don't think about. I can't see what the break is doing, but I do know that it's filling the glass.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, when the glass starts to flow over, maybe that's PCOS, maybe that's
Mm-hmm.
diabetes, maybe that's a heart
Yes.
attack, maybe that's a stroke, maybe
Yeah.
that, but it's okay for me to take a break because
Mm.
why?
Yeah.
It's not
Mm.
logical.
We've been eating in restaurants for the last three years now. You're on keto, and we changed a little bit the restaurant we were going to, but we're still going to the restaurant every other week and never had a problem eating according to our diet.
And what's really
Mm-hmm.
interesting about what you just said, at the beginning, I was the only keto
Mm-hmm.
person. The restaurants did not change that much at the very beginning, and I found something to eat.
Yeah.
When we became two keto people, and since we pay the bill, the restaurants changed
Mm-hmm.
and the children figured out what to eat.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, if you want to make it work, you will find the way to make it work. Whether it's we're adjusting to them like we did on our vacation, or they're adjusting to us because 90% of the time, they find something to eat. We
Yeah.
found something to eat. It's not that hard. Can I just also add here that I want us to really stop and ask when I say I deserve, what am I saying? Because if I deserve gives this implication that it's going to be a good thing. You deserve
Mm-hmm.
it. But it can also be a bad thing, right? Because if I'm saying I deserve, but then I add this negative on the back, you deserve
Mm-hmm.
a slap in the head.
Yes, that's what I was about. I was thinking about.
You deserve
Yeah.
a punch in the face. So it can be good or
Mm-hmm.
bad. Just because somebody thinks that I deserve to eat something doesn't mean that I don't still need to look at what the something is going to do internally to me. Right? We need to make sure that I'm deserving something good,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because otherwise I'm just being punished.
Yeah. The other idea I have is all those family receptions, parties that you go to, and there's a lot of food, and grandma made cookies and cakes and dessert. Uh, the same two things apply. Like you don't want to be misjudged by not eating what everybody made, and maybe you deserve it. How do we address that?
It's so interesting to me that parties, outings, events become about food
Mm.
more than they are about the party event. Like, it's so amazing to me that it's not about the people there. It's not about what we are celebrating. It's what we're eating to celebrate it. And I feel like that's still a mistake that we're making. When you are with your friends, it's about being with your friends. When you are with your family, it's about being with your family. The food that's on the table should not be the star of the event. I'll do you a, like obviously when you go to receptions type things, so weddings and like large party events, there's a menu, and there's a menu. It's not everybody's having X meal and with no possibility of change. It's a
Yeah.
menu for a reason because not everybody eats the same thing. And just that should tell you the answer. Not everybody eats the same thing. So if I don't want to eat what you're eating, look at your plate. Don't look at
Mm.
mine, right? I'm going to look at my plate. I'm not going to look at yours. What's on my plate shouldn't matter to anybody else. I want us to have confidence in what we have figured out is healthy for us. And that means being willing to eat what's healthy for you.
Some situation I've been in the past, even since doing keto and low carb, uh, you would have thought that they would have been the hardest situation to be in, when in fact they're the easiest. A buffet, for example, and I think I was eating 3 times per day. But like in the morning, it was eggs with some bacon, and if there was sausages, I would get that. No bread. For lunch, there was a bunch of stuff to pick from, but the meat was there and some low glycemic vegetable. But the same was going for dinner. When you have a choice with like many foods, it's easier to make like the good choice. But you have to, like I said, own your diet situation and not take like the funnier food like the rice and the potatoes and pasta maybe.
Maybe that's part of the problem, having choice.
Oh, okay.
When I'm at home, I bring into my house what I'm able to eat. There isn't the choice to have rice, for example, because I don't buy it. There isn't the choice to have bread, for example, to the dismay of your boys.
Okay.
I don't buy it, right? Like there's a lot of things that I just don't buy because I don't plan to eat it. Or if I buy a very small amount because my daughter asks me to buy it, but I don't buy. So maybe part of the problem is that when the things that I do at home to be healthy, I might also be doing them not because I've committed so well to this, but just because in that moment of shopping or grocery shopping, I don't buy the stuff. So then it's just not there, which is one type of commitment, but it's not a full-fledged commitment, right? That's basically saying I need to stay in my bubble for this to work. How much can we actually stay in our bubble versus really committing that no matter what the situation, Violet eats healthy. And we've had this conversation, Wellness Warriors, right? Prioritize health over the taste of food. No matter what the situation, eat healthy. No matter what the situation, eat a meal, not a snack. If you're hungry, eat a meal. If you're not hungry enough for a meal, you're not really hungry. But the reality is that we so often are maybe eating off plan because the plan only really exists at home.
If you invite friends for a meal and food is still really important, like I know in my situation, I would do everything I can to make that friend happy. I'm just saying that because I remember being invited at a friend's place that made 100% sure that like everything he put on the table like fitted in my diet. So it was meat, low glycemic vegetables. There was no rice. There was no potatoes. Like I don't even remember if there was even a dessert or so. But like yeah, the thing is, when your friends are really your friends, they want you to be happy, and they're not gonna force you to eat stuff you don't want to eat.
That is absolutely true. I think most people will try their best to put something on the table that you can eat. They might not fully understand when you tell them what your restrictions are, what they are. I'm thinking about my friend and the little shenanigan that I had there. But at the end of the day, I still was able to look at what was presented and decide, I'm not eating that.
Okay.
And it was okay, right? Because I can go a few hours with eating a smaller portion of something and be okay. But it's for everyone to understand that even if my friend makes a perfect effort but gets it wrong, it's still up to Violet to realize that that's not what you're going to eat. Right? Don't eat it. Whatever.
Yeah,
so
I remember that friend asked me beforehand, like before like
so
shopping.
did mine.
Yeah, okay.
So did mine.
Oh, you're right. Yes, it's true. So some people don't understand, or you end up with the nicest spaghetti ever in front of you.
There's meat in it.
Yeah. But there are some situations where, for example, we're talking about grandma or your old aunt that's making like she knows you're coming and makes you the cookies, the chocolate chip cookies. There's some part of us that may be scared of disappointing them, or not by not eating their nice dessert they spent 2 hours baking before we got there.
From a young child, I've disappointed my aunts and uncles and parents about food. So I'm not afraid at all to disappoint. This has been an ongoing game of Violet doesn't like that. Violet's not going to eat it. I think that today I'm in a very good position to just be like, yeah, no, that's not happening. But it's true. For some people, that's been a hard thing of like wanting to see that look on grandma's face. I'm just going to point out something to you guys. The look on grandma's face versus the look she might have when she finds out that you had a heart attack because you shouldn't have been eating some certain things, or grandma's not going to be happy if you're sick. I really don't believe that we have any family members that would prioritize us tasting a food over us being healthy. And if you have that family member, oof, I'm questioning a lot of stuff right now. Because what you're eating is not the thing, right? If I go to see grandma, I'm there to see grandma. And I can very politely, because I'm not a horrible person, I can very politely say, oh, thank you, I'll eat them when I get home. She doesn't need to know I chucked them. Better that they're not in her house either. She might eat them.
Stick to the coffee and the tea.
I really have zero problem saying no to any food, to any beverage that's offered to me. I have zero problem. At the end of the day, I'm the one who's going to feel it later, not you. Honestly, Wellness Warriors, for that one, I'm sticking to that. You know how you are going to feel after you've eaten whatever it was to make that person happy for the 5 seconds that they're going to smile while you were chewing on that whatever versus how you feel later. It's not worth it.
The same as parties revolves around food, they oftentimes revolves around drinking. So what if there are many drinks, and so what are our options like in those situations? We drink
First
once
of
in a
all,
while.
I want to point to, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I don't drink ever. One thing I want to point out is keep in mind, when you're living healthy, you're drinking less. When you're drinking less, when you do drink, it hits you harder. So first of all, I just want to point that out, like, be careful. But the thing that I would say is what I said way back when I was going out with friends. If I was driving, I had to make the same kind of decision because I don't drink and drive. So if I'm driving, Vala's not drinking. And I don't think that my health is different. Like, my health of getting to a car accident or my health of feeling good tomorrow, it's the same. If I'm not in the mood to drink, I am not drinking. And no one is going to be able to convince me to drink if I don't feel like it. If I decide to drink, then it's about being moderate. I hate that word. But it's about realizing that there's only so much you can drink before you're starting to do damage.
Be moderate and be selective also in what you want to drink.
Oh my goodness, for sure, the lowest carb drink that's a possibility. That's what I would go for. But I also feel like the other thing is just, why am I there? So there's often peer pressure to drink as well, because you'll get people to say, oh, are we drinking? And then, like, if I say no, then you're not going to drink. And then there's like, oh, okay, Val's not drinking, so we're not drinking. Yeah, you know what? First of all, you cannot guilt me. I'm just letting you know that right now. I'll be like, yes, all right, so it's going to be a good night because nobody's going to be hungover tomorrow. That's my attitude, part one. The part two, if you decide to not drink or drink based on me, that's you not making decisions for yourself. Everybody needs to be responsible for their own behavior if you're an adult. You need to be responsible for your own behavior. If you feel like drinking, that's up to you. If you feel like not drinking, that's up to you. I really don't want people choosing how they're feeding, fueling, like what's going into their body based on other people's wants and wishes. I mean, honestly, if I hate vanilla cake and it's a birthday party and that's vanilla cake, do you think you're going to get me to eat a piece? No. If I hate vanilla cake, I hate vanilla cake. It's not because you're going to go, oh, but it's my birthday, that all of a sudden I'm eating vanilla. And I think any other food that you put in front of me is the same. I either believe it's healthy and I want to eat it, or I don't believe that, or I believe it's healthy and I want to drink it, or I don't believe that. And just one last piece of the puzzle here. Because I have that attitude, there's zero reason for me to avoid events. I can go to every event that's presented to me because I know when I get there, if I feel like what's presented as food is food by my definition, I will eat it. And if I feel like what's presented as food is not food by my definition, I will not eat it. And it's really that basic. And I've been to many events where I walked in and I looked at what was available and I said, yeah, no, thank you. And I had nothing the whole night. Or maybe I had a tea or some water. There's water.
If you own your lifestyle and really believe in what you do, then all of the situation we presented here are going to be much easier to manage. Like, it's going to be easier to say no to stuff you don't want to eat. It's going to be easier to say no to stuff you don't want to drink, and be healthy all the time.
What I'm going to say is say yes to you. like I'm not a big advocate of saying no to things. I'm a big advocate of saying yes. I'm going to say yes to my health. I'm going to say yes to foods that look to me healthy. I eat meals. I eat healthy meals. I don't snack. So even if I go to a party where everything is chips and there's nothing there for Violet, so there's nothing for me to say no to. There's nothing here that I would say yes to. And I feel like everybody needs to really just back up and look at this from a perspective of, is the real issue that when you're around people, I'm out for any kind of event, I haven't committed to my health enough to do what's healthy for me. I really feel like that's the problem that we're trying to solve here. Because I can tell you, from the moment that I committed to keto 3 years ago, that's what I've lived ever since. And to my knowledge, I only ever ate things that fell within. Have I since deleted things? Yeah, the more knowledge I get, I've deleted a few more things that I realize, oh, that's not really helping my health, even if it might have been keto. And this is where, if I commit to my health, it falls into place. I don't want you walking around saying, no, I can't, no, I can't. If someone offers me chips, my question is there any eggs? Or is there any cheese? Or do you have some bubbly water? Right? Like, that's my question. I'm not eating stuff that's not healthy. I'm eating what's healthy. And I look for what's healthy. I'm not going to go into your party and be like, oh my God, there's only... No, I'm going to look at the table, and if I see something I can have, terrific. If I don't see anything that I can have, fine. It's not my party. It's not hard. It's not hard. Prioritize health over taste. It's not hard. But you can do it if you think about doing it. Like, just put it in your mind. Whatever I do at home, I do away from home. This is something that I say to parents all the time. You let your kids sit with their feet on the table. When they go out, they're going to do the same thing, right? They can pick their nose at home. They're going to pick their nose out in the world. So it's the same thing here. Like, whatever you let yourself do at home, go out and do in the world. It's the same thing. There's a video on the screen right there that's going to help you to manage when you're out and about doing keto.
And if you enjoyed the video, please share it to your friends.
I want to thank you for watching Mind Blowing Health and Wellness with Violet, Pat Chat Edition.
Talk to you next week.
I really can't wait to talk to you again next week.